Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Speed Gaming. And man, it's really early for JRP. He's probably streaming though. Welcome to the Metroid Fusion Open Randomizer, the very first tournament. I'm Army of One, being joined by Summer B. Hey, Summer.
Hello, everyone.
And this is FarinhOso versus kaederukaw4. And let's see, have we dropped the flag yet? There we go.
I did, yeah. They should be starting any moment now on the restream.
Yep, just making sure that everything's going smoothly, and we're going to see a good race. Farron's a good runner, and Kaede also gave Friday a run for his money. So I'm looking to see good things out of both of these runners.
I think all the racers left in this tournament are just of a very high caliber, and all the races from now on are going to be very close and exciting, I think. So looking forward to seeing what happens now that they've started. There's a bit of a desync, a few seconds, but I'm sure we'll get it sorted.
So since this is the first race in a best of three, I'll go ahead and cover sort of the objectives that we need for this randomizer. In order to get the final boss sequence to start, you need a few items and you need to unlock a few doors. The items that you absolutely need are the charge beam, the plasma beam, missiles, and a jump upgrade of some description, either high jump or space jump.
And the gravity suit as well.
Well, so that's not the items necessary, but that's part of the lock that you have to unlock. In order to get up to the navigation controls, you need to unlock red doors. And in order to do that, you need to get into the very bottom of the flooded Sector 4 area. So for that, you need the gravity suit, speed booster, morph ball, either morph ball bombs or screw attack, along with the missiles required for the SAX encounter. And you need some way out, so that's going to be screw attack or some sort of ice source. And we are starting quick.
Ooh.
We're starting with a speed booster.
This is probably gonna get a bit spicy.
Well, it's a standard opening for the randomizer. It seems to be easier for the randomizer to place progression in a speed booster start than, say, a morph ball start. So we see fewer morph ball starts than speed booster or missiles.
Yeah, but it's less common and straightforward than a missile start, I think.
It's certainly less straightforward than missiles.
I think it's always already spicy just to see with a speed booster start the racers actually be able to get to the elevators, because sometimes some racers have dropped the ball on that, the Shine Sparks charge store trick that you have to do. That
right, so so the randomizer difficulty, the trick difficulty, I suppose, is set to 2, and this is the only the only difficulty 2 trick, which allows us to start with speed booster because it opens up the main. Oh, speaking of morph ball, it's a speed morph start.
Yeah,
so we've gotten.
Yeah. Both racers had the trick,
Yeah, both racers, nothing fancy. We've seen some fancier speed booster starts. Kaede heading back to the cubby to grab an E-tank. Farron just heading straight to Sector 2.
That's a risky play. We've seen very important items be placed there before. So it's risky to skip out on that and then have to backtrack later because you think you missed something important.
Right, it could have been high jump, it could have been bombs. Like this, it could have been a very important. In fact, it could have been missiles, and we were supposed to go up to Arachnus. So that it worked out for Farron this time because he was just an E-tank, but it could have been much more punishing just to go forward. Varia's suit behind the cargo.
Ooh.
And Kaede making sure that he doesn't grab the ledge while trying to do that refresh. But Farron is a little bit ahead just because he skipped out on the E-Tank in the Morph Ball cubby hole.
Yeah, sorry, tracker isn't that. I was just a little bit behind with it, but we've got the tracker sorted now. So they're both gonna go unlock the blue locks, looks like.
Right. And Farron, very lucky that the first item was Varia suit, because those Zoros with just the standard fusion suit hit like a truck. They do 45 damage apiece. So if you get hit twice, you're very, very low on health. If you get hit 3 times, you're just dead. In fact, you could be just dead from no warning bleeps. You're chilling at a cool 40 health, and then you just die.
Yeah, Farron's really gotta watch out.
But with the Varia suit, you take far less damage.
And also Speed Booster helps make your way through a lot of enemies far easier.
And just an E-Tank at the Sector 2 data room.
Well, the health is nice.
The health is very nice for Sector 2, but it is not progression, so we're going to see both of our runners head to Sector 3 to do the speed boost through the heated room and check under the floorboards of the green lock room. We still can't unlock green locks, but there is a check that we can make in the area.
Yeah, there's a few checks they can make over there, and certainly we kind of want to hope that there's something there, because otherwise they'll have a very difficult time making other checks. I can immediately think what else is available.
I think those two are last location at the moment, at least within logic. Technically, there is a difficulty 3 trick that allows you to break into Sector 1 with the speed booster, but that is not required or expected in logic right now.
So we should see something in the next 2 checks. FarinhOso saving here.
Right. I suppose it's Farron also has it in the back of his mind that he didn't check the cubby.
Yeah, that's gonna come back to potentially bite him now if he's gonna lose time to that.
Well, so it's already bit him. He's already lost the time to the save, but it doesn't matter because here is our missiles.
Ooh!
Kaede going above the green locks.
Missiles opening
finding a major.
Oh!
There's high jump.
That's
So that
very
high jump,
nice
right?
items.
Yeah. Both of those go mode items. Missiles absolutely required, and
Yeah. And they
So
both
high
open a
jump.
lot.
high jump puts the. Oh well, actually no, never mind. I'm thinking, on missile or morph starts. High jump
Well-
would put the Kago into logic, but we have speed. We can just kill the Kago anyway.
Well, high jump puts lower sector 2 into logic, right? I believe.
Yes and no. It's one of the requirements to get out of lower sector 2, but the only thing that will put lower sector 2 into logic is bombs.
Oh,
It is-
right. Yeah, we also
is
need bombs. Yeah.
It is a completely bomb locked area.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Even if you were to go in from the back, through the reactor silo, it's still bomb locked. And I think it's like the only area of the game that's so totally bomb locked. Like even Sector 4, where you're supposed to bomb that block at the top right hand corner of the main loop, you can still get in technically through level 4 locks if you have screw attack and all the other requirements. Kaede taking his missiles and going straight to Arachnus, Farron going to Sector 1 instead. So we have a bit of a divergence of routing right now.
Yeah, this might have an impact depending on what they find in either Sector 1 or at Arachnus. It could mean that for one of them, the game opens up quite a bit and they'll go off exploring elsewhere and not check the other spot for a while. which
Yeah, so
could have an
the
impact.
Sector 1 loop has, well, when you have Morph Ball and Speed, has a total of 9 items, so it's a lot, but it's also kind of long. Space Jump for Farron. Rectus, on the other hand, has 5 items and is kind of out of the way, so I do like Farron's play a fair bit better than Kaede's, but
Yeah.
it comes down to luck.
Yeah, it always comes down to luck in Randomizer. The space jump is nice, opens a few more checks, makes movement easier in some ways, also less easy in some ways because it disables single wall jumps, I believe. Also,
It
it makes...
disables wall jumps in general.
Okay, yeah. But it does, importantly, put Crumble City into logic, I think, or at least it helps put it into logic.
So it puts it into logic once you can axe Crumble City with the screw attack.
Mm-hmm. But well, Crumble City is always a check I look forward to. I always like seeing something on Crumble City.
But the runners do not.
True. So far, nothing in this lava room, aside from E-tanks, yeah, that's just it.
Kaede picking the E-tank up in the way, and checking in the attic for another E-tank.
Yeah, Arachnus was
Yeah.
also dry so far, I think.
No, there was one.
I didn't see it.
Oh man, I was just watching that, but we were in the middle of
Oh,
conversation.
wide beam, yeah, it was wide beam.
Yeah, wide beam. It's like, what's different than this? 3 beams versus 1 beam. So yeah, if there wasn't wide beam, I'd be very tempted just to skip Arachnus because I would feel, oh, there isn't anything along the critical path.
Well, you
And
do want
just
wide
a
beam.
just a power bomb tank.
Yeah.
You do want wide beam. It is a very nice quality of life upgrade, but it isn't required by. In fact, it is the only upgrade that doesn't unlock progression in some way, shape, or form.
But
It's just
if you,
extra damage.
Yeah. But if you happen to pick up a wave beam without having wide, then you'll certainly
if
be
you-
wishing you had wide.
Super missiles for Farron. That's a very nice quality of life. With slight progression, that'll definitely hint towards Sector 4 with the Garen in the early 4 area. But Kaede heading back from Arrakis to Sector 1.
FarinhOso is on his way to charge Corex.
Right. So,
And, doesn't have wave to
Farron-
make the check there in the right.
right, so he can't make the watering hole gravity check. And it'll be tough for him to get through these hornodes quickly enough. But if you have some fancy firing with missiles, you can run through them without getting slowed down and have just enough room.
That
Here
was
we
it.
go. For the Shine Spark charge.
Winning it
Activating
in
the
one
boss.
try.
Nicely done.
And with super missiles making very quick work of the charge Corex. But just
And
an
another
assault tank.
missile tank. Missing a couple of those missiles. And
Oh.
deciding that he does want that missile tank.
We've seen instances where the runners had skipped out on some missile tanks and then really ended up being short in some boss fights. So I think it's not a bad move to just grab those while you can.
And not at all. Without having charge beam, you don't really have a way to. In fact, you don't have a way to damage bosses without missiles. So if you have to end up fighting bosses without missiles, you want to have a lot of missiles. In fact, we've seen. Oh, it was Jagger trying to fight Ceres with only 10 missiles.
Oh yeah. Oh,
And
that was so
that-
painful. Oh my god.
That was a bit painful to watch. And unfortunately not for Ceres, it was painful for us.
Yeah, he died on it twice because he ran out of missiles just from missing a few shots. But yeah, looks like we've checked all of Sector 1 pretty much, aside from Watering Hole, and we've only found Space Jump, so progression is to be found elsewhere.
Well, so we did find super missiles.
Yeah,
And that'll open up progression in early Sector 4. There's going to be one item check there, and it's going to be very, very likely that it's going to be our progression that we're looking for. And Farin, heading to Arachnus. Farin hasn't made the 5 checks up at Arachnus.
okay, so they're kind of just going to get back on the same path after they have each checked a place that the other person already had, but they hadn't yet.
And Farin skipping out on the cubby hole again. Farin.
Oh, and now going back, I forgot about it. But it's just an E-tank, right?
It's just an E-tank, but he didn't know that.
Yeah.
So when both of these runners meet back up after Kaede finishes Sector 1 and after Farin finishes Arachnus, although Farin has super missiles, Arachnus not going to stand a chance. We'll see.
I mean,
who's
Arachnus generally doesn't
further...
stand a chance.
That's true, but if you have a missile start, you don't usually get a lot of missile tanks at the beginning of just in those first 4 checks. So it might take a little while because you have to you don't have those 2 extra missile expansions.
Well, yeah, it takes longer if you just have a missile start and have to go directly via Arachnus, but even then it's just such an easy boss.
And Kaede has wide beam, which will make short work of those Hornodes. No need for any fancy missile work here.
Farin also picking up their wide beam. So now they're equal items-wise, and they're both going to be leaving these areas soon, and probably going to Sector 4?
I think Sector 4 is progression. We don't have bombs, so we can't get into lower Sector 2. We can't check upper Sector 2 for that matter. We don't have Screw Attack or... let's see, what else would be progression at this point?
Well, Sector 3 also needs bombs.
There's the super missiles. Goodbye.
Yeah, that was just obliteration.
Sector 3 needs green doors. For the most part, there is the bomb check if you have Screw Attack, but green doors need bombs. So it's very, very likely that there are bombs behind the Garen in Sector 4. That's like the big... It's either bombs or Screw Attack, is what it comes down to.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, looks like they're going to arrive back at the main elevators at around the same time. Katie's going to be there a bit quicker, but it's still going to be close. And then we'll see where they go next. Not Sector 3.
Yeah, Kaede heading to Sector 4. And Farin in the main area.
So Farin's technically a few seconds behind. Oh, Farin? Having a hard time deciding?
is indecisive.
This is... Sector 3. Still not sure, though. Sector 4 after all?
Yeah, Sector 4. This is last location for the equipment set. And in fact it is bombs. So that'll open up pretty much the rest of, or a lot of the station.
That was nicely predicted by you. If you have that on your bingo card, you can cross off.
It was less just a hard read and more of a, well, this is literally the only thing that it could be.
Yeah. Still, you gotta know.
And that's
But
why
yeah.
if you ever see bombless seeds, that's why it's so special, because bombs open up the second half of the game. It's just
Yeah.
it's that important.
You kind of need bombs to get it everywhere, and it is going to open up a whole lot of the game and a whole lot of potential checks. So now they have pretty much all of Sector 4 to go through. Will be interesting to see whether any more progress is to be found here, and also whether they will go fight Ceres or not. And yeah, as pointed out in chat, it's also a damage run for a major, so that's also a square you can cross off on your bingo card.
Baron also checking underneath Ceres and not finding anything. Personally, like, if you plan on fighting Ceres, which it looks like Kaede is, because he didn't go up and neither did Farin, so he'll make the check directly under Ceres at the same time as going to Ceres. If you can get out of the Ceres area, like if you already have speed or if you have gravity and you can get out the front, I actually think that, well, both runners are backtracking just a little bit of time loss with their routing through Sector 4 by going to check those 2 items first.
I've seen this routing a
oh.
lot. It kind of feels standard. Oh, Kaden leaving after all, or doing this under this bottom check first before going to Ceres? Just PB.
And yes, just checking that item.
Now going to
before
Ceres?
Ceres.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Autumn saying that chat tried to scam Army and her yesterday.
Yeah, trying to scam us out of free bingo spaces. But that's the thing with chat. Chat is always scamming.
Yeah. Chat always trying to get those bingo spaces. Oh, so Kaida doesn't have... Oh no, he does have high jump, so he doesn't need to do the trick.
Right, so high jump and gravity are the 2 items that put Ceres into logic. I'm unsure about space jump. It technically is an item that you don't have to do underwater wall jumps, but I think it's considered a trick that isn't in logic yet.
The jumping over the water with space jump.
Right.
Seems straightforward enough.
It does for me, and it's, in my opinion, easier to do than underwater wall jumps.
Oh,
even
it
though you only
definitely is,
need a
I
couple.
think.
But it is a slightly tight timing. Oh wow, the sync up on killing the core, killing Ceres at the same time.
that is unusual to see in Randomizer, to sync up on boss fights. We did see it with Nightmare the other day, which was very unexpected. But the runners are only finding a PB tank here.
So this is the, or I should say, retreading of areas that the runners have already checked that I was mentioning earlier. And if you plan on fighting Ceres, I think you go fight Ceres and check these on the way out instead of checking them on the way in.
Yeah, it's not completely optimal.
Right. And Kaede has already checked the speed check in mid-4, so he's just going to leave. And Farin right behind him.
Now the question is, where to go next?
Well, we have... so Sector 3 to unlock green doors is probably the smart play,
Yeah,
but
now that
we
they
do
got
also
bombs.
we have all of Sector 2 open to us. In fact, we even have space jump, so we can get up into the Nitori overgrown sector. Both runners heading to Sector 2.
I personally think it would be smarter to open green locks first, but I guess they thought might as well.
I mean, there are a lot of checks here in Sector 2. Let's see, in Upper 2... Let's see. I would say that I would consider 4 checks in upper 2. First one is just Power Bomb expansion. That's not the best. But then in lower 2, let's see. 2 in the Notori overgrown area. And another 4, not including Zazabi or Ripper Tower, in lower 2. So that's, I mean, you're getting in double digits worth of checks in Sector 2. So it's very, very tempting to just go through Sector 2.
Mm-hmm. So far, not finding anything, but of course, yeah, they're only just entering lower Sector 2. NSYNC references are being made in chat. That's very random, which is fitting for a randomizer, I guess.
Yeah, they hit shuffle on their iPod.
first,
if they're making in-sync references, my goodness.
Yeah, that's 20 years old stuff. First, it's gonna be May, and then I want it that way, but we don't want E-tanks anymore. So yeah.
This is. I was about to say this is a very healthy seed. Both runners, 6 and 10 E-tanks. That's you need to stop wasting time with just the fanfare at that point, let alone going to pick it up.
Yeah, I've said during a few races that I thought the racers didn't always pick up enough E-tanks and missiles, and they were a bit risky, but so far in this seed, it certainly hasn't been an issue.
Kaede showing a little bit of swag with those underwater wall jumps.
Yeah.
A little bit quicker than waiting for that pillar to rise up.
Indeed, but Oasis and Wonderwall are empty. So we don't need that British band invasion this time.
Also, yeah, I wanted that way was Backstreet Boys.
Yeah.
I didn't want to say anything immediately because it's been 20 years since I've thought about either of those boy bands.
I thought so as well, but you know, it's all kind of the same stuff, and it's still enjoyable. I think it's just one of those.
These are the same picture. Farin checking above Zazabi, while Kaede checking in the Notori area. Only an E-tank, but Farin electing to fight Zazabi even though that Sector 2 has been fairly barren.
Yeah, at this point it kind of looks like progression could be anywhere in Sector 2 or 3, so kind of somewhat makes sense to check a boss, especially since you have Speed Booster and Space Jump. You can kind of go have a quick look-see at the Speedway.
The Speedway is locked behind Screw Attack, so we won't be getting a Speedway check.
Well, you can still see one of the items without Screw Attack, right? If I'm not mistaken.
No, you have to have Screw Attack to get out of the Zazabi room. There's a wall there. Kaede deciding to not fight Zazabi, which I think is technically the smarter play at the moment. There hasn't been anything that suggests that the randomizer placed items along this as a critical path. There's been no majors, for instance.
Yeah, but if it did work out, it would have been really nice of Farin, a really nice play if it did work out.
So I think pseudo space jump is a bit of a typo in the bingo card. It's supposed to be pseudo screw attack. Fairly certain.
Yeah, that's a typo for sure. Kind of leaving Sector 2. So I would guess they are going Sector 3 to open green locks.
Gotten both. Let's see.
It's a little surprising that Sector 2 was so bare. So there could be something on Metroid, but yeah, they're not
But we
gonna
don't
find
have
out.
nearly enough firepower.
Yeah, they don't. They're not gonna find that out right now. They don't have the firepower for it, indeed. So, Sector 3 it is. The boy band references are continuing in chat. Not exactly a boy band, but to talk about look at this
Music in general.
Yeah, there was something said about a picture earlier and made me think of, look at this photograph.
Oh God, no! Why?
Nickelback, yes. Never made it as a white man. I love trolling with that.
Farin got a pretty tight timing speed boost exit from lower sector 2. That was pretty nice. You can actually mark that down as commentator slightly impressed. But Kaede,
just slightly.
Kaede picking up missiles, gearing up for that box fight.
Yeah, maybe progression will be on box. We've seen it recently, so who knows?
But Kaede does have his green locks open, so we're going to see the rest of Sector 3. It looks like we're going to lower 3 first, instead of blasting through the Garen. More missiles.
I agree with Chad's feelings on Nickelback.
Yeah, it really is a meme to dislike Nickelback, like really dislike. And we have a major on Nova stairs. We have power bombs. I mean, it's not the worst.
It opens a few checks.
Opens up 3 checks in Sector 3, but there is a single check in Sector 4 that both runners had to leave behind without even being able to check. And that's that's sort of the curse of power bombs, is you have to backtrack if you're on a hunt. It's like the crumbs and just a missile in the lava maze.
So yeah, we'll have to see if they find progression here in Sector 3 now with the power bombs, or if they will have to backtrack to Sector 4, but there's still a lot of checks they can do here, right?
Right, so that Kaede's cleared out lower Sector 3, but in upper Sector 3 we've got Bob, Underbox, Box itself, and then 2 more. And I wasn't even thinking about powerbomb checks. This is the first, this is the mid 3 powerbomb check. It's just a powerbomb tank. Farin also picking up his powerbomb data, taking a little bath in the lava.
Mm-hmm.
Not too big a deal.
We're gonna see a Bob check. So will Bob be? Oh,
Charge Bob.
Bob is actually a major and a go mode item at that. Charge Bob. Oh, I don't know if I've seen Charge Bob before. Maybe once, but I like Charge Bob. That's a good one. Just a quick one for chat for those Ace of Base fans. All that she wants is not her baby. She's gone tomorrow. Got all the tunes here.
And we have another major screw attack.
There's a screw attack that we were talking about earlier. Yeah, so
that, I would say that's probably the logical way out of Sector 4 at this point. We haven't seen any ice. No ice beam, no ice missiles, no diffusion. So this is this might be we might have an iceless seed at this point.
But first, we have Box. Kaede going for a quick kill here. And doing a very nice job at that.
And Kaede finishing with his box fight. And getting an E-Tank. 11 E-Tanks, super healthy. But we are not done with cat jams yet. Keep those cat jams in the stream, in the chat.
Though it's technically a cat scam since it was only an energy tank in the data room.
Farin finishing box much quicker, but much further to the left, so we gotta wait. Okay, now box is leaving. And now this is where we could see a lot of differences in routing. We've got green doors unlocked. We have screw attack. Kaede dipping into Sector 1 just to make the 1-2 connector check before heading back into Sector 3.
Pretty much the whole game has opened up to the runners now, so it will be interesting to see where they go, in what order, and how that will work out.
The only two major areas that are still locked are Turian and Ridley, along with the Deep 6 restricted area checks with Box 2. But other than that, Power Bombs opened up the reactor silo, and green doors unlocked animals. So it's just a matter of how well these runners can read the seed for routing purposes. Farin getting into Sector 5.
Where would you say they should go now?
With power bombs and screw attack, Sector 6 is calling my name, but Sector 5, if you do find gravity this close to the path to level 4 locks, it's hard to resist at least checking. And we've seen plenty of major items just sitting right there in the 3-5 interchange.
Yeah.
We've seen gravity up right above the crow's nest right here.
So far no divergence yet, but it would indeed be ideal for the runners if they could just find gravity now and make their way to unlock red doors and just... Yeah, then all they have left is plasma to find.
Right. Kaede going a little bit quicker, using a power bomb to make the check, and finding just some more missiles in the data room. And both runners heading up into the speed trap. This is one of the checks that are, in fact, I guess other than opening into the nightmare area, this is the only check in upper 5 that is dependent upon having a broken room. It's plasma beam.
Yeah, so all they need is gravity for go modes.
Right.
Now it's just a gravity hunt, and we know theoretically gravity could be on Ridley still, right?
Gravity could be on Ridley still, yes. I believe the two items that are progression go mode items that can be on Ridley are gravity and speed boost. I think those are the only two, because you need missiles to get into Turian from either direction because of red locks. But if you have red locks, then you're not looking for go mode items on Ridley. So you need missiles to get into Turian. You need bombs to get through a couple of bomb walls. You need charge and plasma in order to fight Ridley in logic. Kaede heading to Sector 6. And
Here's that
Farin
divergence.
sticking in Sector 5.
Yeah, pretty much now the whole game is open to them aside from going into lower sector 4 to open red locks with gravity. So it's really just a race to check as many places as possible. Ideally go to the most check dense places first and then just hope you find gravity as quickly as possible.
And I think Gravity on Ridley was Kaede versus MST.
That sounds about right.
Kaede checking, I can't believe it's not Sector 6, but only finding a power bomb expansion.
I like that name for that location.
Thank you. And Farin opening up his level 3 locks. So one of the reasons that I guess if we're looking for gravity, because we've got all the go mode items that we need except for gravity. But if there's extra go mode items that we're looking for, I usually try to put off the Sector 5 checks, just because if you unlock level 4 locks in the current tournament settings, you also unlock level 3 locks. And that makes routing through Sector 5 a little bit less backtracky.
Yeah, that's more optimal, but so far it seems to be so open they have no idea where gravity could be, so I don't know if it's necessarily bad to open yellow locks. Oh, major here?
Although, we do have a major. It is
Oh!
gravity. Farin, the first to enter go mode.
So Farin made the right play this time after all.
Farin made the right play, yeah.
And now just has to go unlock red doors. And then go fight the SAX.
And unfortunately, Kaede is just in the completely wrong sector.
Yeah, Kaede is going to be going through Sector 6 first, and then maybe going back to that location in Sector 5. But it's still going to take a while, so this is unfortunate for them. Oh, major here? Diffusion.
It's a decent pickup. It does make, hitting core X's with doubles a little bit harder, but it is a little bit extra damage. So
At this point, it's not what they want to see.
Right.
Did make short work of that Mega Corax.
And Farin breaking into lower sector 4.
Yeah, they're just gonna make a beeline straight for red locks now. And that won't take long at all. You know, as a casual player back in the day, I never realized quite how small this game's map really is. It always felt so much longer just because playing it casually, you just had to discover how to get everywhere, and just always took long and a lot of backtracking, and it's a very different experience than seeing professional players tear this game apart in this tournament. In the randomizer too, which is also a different experience compared to just playing the vanilla game, of course.
Kaede heading into sector 5 himself.
So Kaede might find gravity in not too long, but Farin's already opened red locks and is on his way to SCX, so unless something unfortunate happens to Farin, this will be over fairly short.
Farin not quite remembering where that screw exit was. There it is.
Yeah, it's a bit hidden, but got it now, and making their way out of Sector 4. Kaede's opened yellow doors, I believe, and I think they're gonna find their gravity here soon. Was this the way?
They're about to open up their yellow doors.
Oh, okay. I had misseen that then. I thought they had already opened their yellow doors. But they're not far off.
But yeah, as far as the game feeling much larger, the game is really good at the vanilla game is really good at having you do backtracking, not only with new items and abilities, but also with different layers for the maps, like the broken Sector 5, for instance, or the opening to Sector 5 having Nightmare floating around in the background and being all ominous and scary.
Yeah,
So
that always creeped me the hell out back in the day.
Yes, it's like, what is that?
But yeah, it does kind of make you go through a lot of locations multiple times. That also just makes the game feel larger, and it's just a very different experience. But making the good play to save right before facing SEX here in a moment, and should be wrapping it up soon as long as they don't die. While Kaede...
That's gravity for Kaede.
Yeah, that's their go mode, but probably a bit too late, so let's see what happens now.
Yeah, Farin doesn't have ice, so he won't be able to do any of those freezing strats that make this SIX round 1 fight just super quick. You just have to do these sort of chase strats. Ooh. Accidentally running into a SIX with a screw attack.
Phase 1 went well enough. And that's phase 2.
And now it's just the ice core.
The cheese threats once again. We've seen this many times in the tourney. Just get the core stuck.
Yeah, it's super low risk.
As long as you know how to pull it off, which I don't. I've died to the core many times. Because I'm just a scrub, you know? But Farin making short work of it and going to set the BSL research station on a collision course with planet SR388. And then Samus has to get the hell out of this place. Also in chat, people are speculating, talking about the losers bracket and speculating about the future matchups, who might be facing who. It's gonna be interesting to see. Kaede just unlocked red doors, while Farin is making their way to the exit. But first they'll have to face a terrifying foe!
Farin getting the swag spark, but not the low height.
Oh,
So
that was just a
bug.
pixel off, a frame off, very close. But it shouldn't matter as long as Farin gets the kill here. If Farin does die, it will be pretty close because Kaede is going to make a.
Yeah, if there's a death
No.
here, it will be a very, very close race.
Farin doesn't have waves, so they can get a stun lock.
There we go.
I was about to say
Yeah.
that I didn't think they could get a stun lock, but nicely
You
done.
can get the stun lock. In fact, it's easier without wave.
Oh,
Just because of how wave beams had to be coded in the randomizer to get that beam stacking effect. And that's 48-46 for FarinhOso, taking the first race in this best of 3.
GG.
Kazuto promising that'll be fixed.
And that's a forfeit from Kaide. So I'm guessing we'll get the racers in a moment for a post-race interview.
Hi everyone.
Hi, Farron. Congrats on the winning game 1 here.
GG. So it was, yeah, both of you actually did pretty much very, very similar routes. Like there was slight divergence in the beginning. Kaede went to Arachnus before Sector 1, and you did the opposite. But other than that, until the very end, where you went to Sector 5, Kaede went to Sector 6, and that was that.
Oh, okay. So normally I would have gone to Sector 6, but I decided to go to 5. I don't know why. I guess it worked.
Yeah, it paid off.
It worked. In fact, I was sitting here in the commentator booth saying, I feel Sector 6 is better than Sector 5, generally speaking. But of course, this seed decided to spite me as well, and we also have Kaede in the booth as well.
Not
good
this
race.
time.
Not this time, though.
I was like, okay, I have a screw attack, and I felt like Sector 6 was the play, but no.
It could have
And
gone
that's-
either way, really.
And that's what I was looking at too. It's like screw attack, power bombs. Oh man, that's Sector 6 right there. But
Yep.
at that point, it's
I felt like doing Sector 5, it was slower, I think. I don't know. I always feel that way compared to Sector 6.
it generally feels slower.
well. So
I don't know.
Sector 5, without already having done red locks, is definitely slower, or is definitely slower than already getting red locks. But at that point, we're looking for gravity to get into red locks itself, so it's hard to accurately guess where the gravity suit's going to be at that point. I feel.
Yeah, also Sector 1 and 5 were stacked. At least 1 had a lot of majors.
Yeah, one
Imagine
had
doing
space
Sector
jump
3,
and
it's ridiculous.
one had space jump and supers unlocked bombs in Sector 4.
Yeah, for a moment I forgot I could do that check, and I was pretty lost. Good thing my brain decided to work for once.
Well, congratulations on the first win, Farin. And come on, Kaede, let's bring this to a race 3.
Don't worry, I'm working for this next episode. Don't worry, I'm here for you.
So I've just posted the next seed. We'll probably get let's see. So it is, yep. We'll probably get a SpeedGaming volunteer to move up the next race to very soon. We'll probably have a short ad break in between, and then we'll get back to this best of 3 between Farin and Kaede. So stick around. We are not done yet.
See you later.
See you folks in a moment.